Absolutely. So I've been knocking on thousands of doors, really listening to residents. And for me, that's a really important part of being a city councillor. You need to possess the ability to communicate not only with residents, but with other elected officials, community leaders, other levels of government. So I'm really leaning on my skill set, my background in journalism and communication. I should have mentioned in my intro, I'm the former editor of the local paper, the Orleans Star newspaper. So that's how I got initially very well educated on the issues facing the East End. But in this specific ward locally, far and away, the number one thing I've been hearing from folks is around speeding and dangerous driving. It's very frequently brought to my attention that we need to do more to slow people down, not only on residential streets in the suburbs, but also in rural villages. So that's really at the local level, that's sort of the main priority for me. Citywide, the deficit is concerning. You know, we had to suspend a lot of our revenue generating services at the city during the pandemic, which obviously was the right call, but we're going to be heading into a challenging few months and years with balancing the budget. And I don't want to see that all fall onto the taxpayer. I think that there are many ways within the city of Ottawa where we can streamline services a little bit, better leverage technology, and uncover inefficiencies to combat some of our overspending that way. Another big issue that's playing out right now at council is the ward boundary review. It's particularly concerning for rural Cumberland Ward, because all 6 options that have been presented to council basically suggest merging rural Cumberland Ward with Osgood. And so for a number of reasons, rural folks in the East End are concerned about this. Osgood has a larger population. So I think they feel that we're going to be dwarfed and kind of eaten up into some of their West End priorities. Also, people here, I live in Navan, we go into Orleans to our grocery shopping, to eat at restaurants. So we have kind of a more of a stake with the Orleans ward than we do with Osgood. Et aussi, nous faisions le quartier de Cumberland qui compte une population importante de francophones avec un quartier à prédominance anglophone. Alors, cela signifie que le bilinguisme pourrait ne pas être un facteur dans les élections futures. So, pour population francophone ici, c'est tellement préoccupant. So I would say those are sort of the top 3, but certainly there's a lot of infrastructure projects underway. We're getting stage 2 of the LRT project into Orleans, which is very exciting. Has the potential to be transformational, but stage 1 was definitely not handled properly, and we have a lot of lessons to learn as we move forward into that.
The most pressing issues facing our community are several. First of all, the safety of the roads, especially in the rural areas of the riding, where the preservation of farmland as well. The present pandemic has shown that food insecurity will be a major priority for Canadians, and especially with winter, there will be an increase enabling to transport food across borders, especially in the US, and we are still closed. So protecting the environment as well. By protecting farmlands, we are also protecting the environment. Rezoning for land development, it must not have an impact. It must not have an impact on rural areas. Also protecting the wetland areas for increased flooding. Transit is also another issue here in the East End especially. So rerouting and reorganizing the buses, it really caused chaos here in this part of the ward in the East End. I've been knocking many doors, and the message is the same. The constituent, they were fine with the way things were, even though it was still not the best, because when it comes to buses, it's either the bus stops are too far or the buses are not frequent enough. Definitely we need in the East End a better transit system. And the LRT is also a major concern in terms of expanding into the rural areas. So the way I would like to work with my constituent is first of all promoting people first policies. That is really my first priority, to rebuild the economy and protect our environment. I have lived in both rural and urban centers, so I understand the needs and the importance of building a strong economy, but not to the detriment of the communities and the people who live in them. So with my entrepreneur and business skills, social skills, understanding the governance, I have the experience and the ability to tackle these issues.
Issues, as you'll see when you visit my website, lisepascal.ca, and with my platform, is economic recovery and development, because during COVID-19, businesses were very hurt, us seniors as well, families. But businesses were really hurt during COVID-19, and I intend to work, because actually in my community engagement, I work with provincial and federal governments. So I intend to use that experience and advocate for more programs and services for businesses, and that those services or programs that put them more in depth, because that's what I've been hearing, talking with business owners in Cumberland Ward, is that they need programs and services to help them get to the pre-COVID-19 level of operations while maintaining the safety of course, customers and the staff. And I also heard a lot in the rural and suburban areas that speeding is a very, it's an issue, because it's dangerous for families, it's dangerous for seniors who can't take a walk or are afraid to take a walk during the day, wait to in the evening to take the walk because of their car speeding, the cyclists as well as children. So we need to make sure, and as an advocate, as an activist, as a community leader, I will use that to advocacy skill to be able to demand that we invest more in efficient traffic calming measures, because we see that the stop signs or the speed bumps, sometimes they're not that efficient to prevent. But so that's why I do support that for all residential streets, we do put a maximum of 30 kilometers per hour. That means people will go 40 kilometers per hour. So, and also the radar, for the radars are also important, not only around the schools or community centers, but also in key residential streets. So that's very important. I also talk about investing in transit with phase 2 that's coming to Orleans. We're very excited. However, we need to make sure it's efficient and reliable, because then it misses its goal, right? And it will bring more businesses, it will bring more people to come and visit that part of Ottawa. But so that we need to ask the right questions. We need to ask the right questions to the city staffer, to RTG. If it can't be done, then we need to also maybe think about getting out of the contract with RTG and get another private contractor taken in-house. That's where I stand. I also think that we need to listen to residents who say that they're paying more on Hydro One, up to 30% than those who are on Hydro Ottawa. And I said, it's worth fighting for, and it's not because the first round of negotiation didn't work that I cannot come and push, for a second round of negotiation with the province. And so to make it fair, I also talk about affordable housing. I think it's important in Cumberland Ward, because I heard, I think it was last month when I met a senior lady who told me that she has her friend who had to move to the south because of the lack of affordable housing. Why? Because on a fixed income, you may not be able to afford a big house when your children left, right? And you might need a smaller house, but they're not available at an affordable price. So that's why I talk about building a relationship with developers that can work for the community, and ask them if it will be able to get at least 20% of the units that are being built for affordable housing. So at the city level, I talk about climate change and green initiatives. I talk about equity and inclusion in all forms. And I also talk about bilingualism, because we need access to French services. And it's not only, in public offices, it's also on the buses, on public transportation, and ambulances, and seniors residences. So we have to think about the Francophone community as well. And as I said before, bilingualism is very important to build the national unity. So please check my website to know more. I might not go in detail right now, but that's about it. That's what I heard, other pressing issues. I also hear about supporting of farmers. With internet, right? Internet in the rural, in our new normal, we need and you depend on the internet. It's for work, it's for accessing services, for children who might need to go to school, but in class, but also study at home. So internet is very important. That's why I said that I will work with the federal government to make sure that high-speed internet is available in the rural areas. And the other issues are supporting farmers with the process of getting permitting buildings, and to look at the reality, because they have a different reality, so that the projects may be given a chance to realize, to be concrete. The amalgamation of the rural parts of Cumberland, or some parts of Cumberland as well, like Falling South, is something that I hear is really affecting especially the rural residents, because they feel like they'll be swallowed by Osgood, that's already a big ward. And for the Francophone community in the rural, there will be a minority, because Osgood is very much Anglophone. There might be maybe 20% more Francophone. So they feel like they should be given more options, and have this discussion when they have a city councillor who can be a voice for them. So that's about it for now. I'll say for the pressing issues, and I hope to work on them if you work for me.